And during the few moments that we have left, we want to have just a off-the-cuff chat between you and me. Us. We want to talk right down to earth in a language that everybody here can easily understand. We all agree tonight, all of the speakers have agreed that America has a very serious problem. Not only does America have a very serious problem, but our people have a very serious problem. America's problem is us. We're her problem. The only reason she has a problem is she doesn't want us here. And every time you look at yourself, be you black, brown, red, or yellow, a so-called Negro, you represent a person who poses such a serious problem for America because you're not wanted. Once you face this as a fact, then you can start plotting a force that will make you appear intelligent instead of unintelligent. What you and I need to do is learn to forget our differences. When we come together, we don't come together as Baptists or Methodists. You don't catch hell because you're a Baptist, and you don't catch hell because you're a Methodist. You don't catch hell because you're a Methodist or a Baptist. You don't catch hell because you're a Democrat or a Republican. You don't catch hell because you're a Mason or an Elk. And you sure don't catch hell because you're an American, but if you was an American, you wouldn't catch no hell. You catch hell because you're a black man. You catch hell, all of us catch hell for the same reason. So we're all black people, so-called Negroes, second-class citizens, ex-slaves. You are nothing but an ex-slave.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Back at it once again. It's a Iskosi Fun Day. Kicking it for you and for yours. You know, I'm here enjoying this wonderful, wonderful weekend. You just heard our ancestor, the late great Malcolm X. And he made a breakdown on an important point that's going to be the central point of this vehicle, or this video, excuse me. Now, and this comes from Religion News. In Detroit, one organization is schooling Muslims to practice racial justice. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, we don't catch this flat because, you, like you said before, you're a Methodist or you're a Christian or you're a Muslim. We catch this flat because we're black. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just showing it from a different angle. You know what I'm saying? It began with so many justice movements do these days on Twitter. Nari Islam, a Bangladesh American lawyer living in Detroit, had noticed many of the ongoing conversations about Muslims online showing ignorance of the faith group's racial demographics. Black Muslims was often presumed to be converts or activists. Black Muslims discussing their experience with racism would receive messages saying that promoting separatism is un-Islamic. Non-Muslims, as well as many prominent Muslims, seem to equate the faith with being Arab or South Asian, and the slur Abid, Arabic for slave, was commonplace. As Black History Month approaches in 2014, she rallied a crew of about 20 activists and scholars to launch a new hashtag, Being Black and Muslim. We wanted to reflect on and assure Black Muslims in the conversations we were seeing online as well as our community and institutions, Islam said, because those enclosures reflect on what we're seeing everywhere, and it resonated. For 4 hours that February 10th, 5 years ago, hashtags were on Twitter not only in the U.S., but globally. The response showcased Black Muslims' pride and joy in their cultures and their experiences, Islam said, as well as the heartbreak and betrayal they feel at the hands of their brothers and sisters in the faith. Because of racial and carrying messages in the Quran and the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, people think if you're a Muslim, you can't be racist, Islam noted, but that could be further from the truth. According to a Pew Research Center, Black Muslims make up a fifth of Muslims in U.S. Muslims, while being black and Muslim are significantly more than being non-black and Muslim to say that Islam is important to live their lives and that they pray 5 times a day. Non-black Muslims sometimes believe their black counterparts are not real Muslims. So they believe that you even hold the faith or hold the deen. Part of that may be rooted in the inaccurate assumption that most black Muslims belong to the Nation of Islam, which many consider to be heretical. In fact, just 2% of Muslims currently identify with the Nation of Islam, Pew reports. And while about 92% of black Muslims say black people face a lot of discrimination, only 60% of non-black Muslims agree. Islam, 31, and educator Maria Hill, 43, saw the viral hashtag an opportunity to expand the campaign to a long-term educational source for Muslims who want to teach their own community about race and religion. Together, Hill and Islam launched the Muslim Anti-Racist Collaborative, non-commonly known as Muslim ARC. Their mission statement, Education for Liberation. Almost immediately, organizations reached out to the pair asking them to lead trainings and consultation about racism within the Muslim communities. They hosted a panel of Islamic Society of North American Conference that year and were invited to address a group of high school students competing in the annual Muslim Inter-Scholarly Tournament. They were expecting an audience of 25 board teams. Instead, they found themselves facing a rapture audience of 250. So right away, this is more than a hashtag, Hill, Muslim ARC's managing director, said. These people, although they were alone in their experience. So we started to think about how ways to stay in the conversation and how to interview the issue that clearly needed to be discussed. 5 years since that conversation began, their project to help and train some of America's largest Muslim advocacy organization in racial justice. Hill, who has a background in curriculum design and has taught at community college as well as Islamic schools and summer camp, has been taking the course on a virtual instructions on an online education platform, course ahead of Being Black and Muslim launch. I had this idea to make anti-racism accessible in a sort of way, said Hill, because how do you even learn anti-racism if you're not on campus or working with a social justice organization? If you're just a regular lay person, how do you access that? Their solution was to develop a set of curricula for organizations to train members about racial justice and combating Islamophobia, and for individuals to understand how to be better allies. They produced a toolkit helping Muslims understand how to respond to police brutality and Black Lives Matter. We must unequivocally affirm the ill-ingrained nature of Islam, in which the Quran and the Surah, Islamic tradition based on the actions of the Prophet Muhammad, clearly condemn racism. It noted and hosted or facilitated online courses, webinars, and meetings. Ahead of the anniversary of the assassination of Malcolm X, they asked imams around the country to focus on their Friday sermons on the shootings in his life. They also lead workshops and consultation for groups who need guidance in adopting exclusive practices. Their clients and partners have included the Council on American Islamic Relations, Empower Change, Faith in Action, Inner City Muslim Action Network, Take on the Hate, the Chicago Regional Organization for Anti-Racism and Pop Culture Collab, with whom they consulted on the upcoming Esmar Ghani's directed film, East of La Brea. Many mainstream Muslim advocacy organizations are now actively working for movements such as Black Lives Matter, and pushing for funding for more Black Muslim grassroots projects, movements they once shied away from. On February 10th, celebrating Muslims ARC 5-year anniversary in Los Angeles, Hill told local Muslim leaders, "We can trace the lineage of the language that we introduced." National organizations that was once ruled by respectability politics and white aspirational lens, she said, have now shifted towards a social justice lens. Since their first hashtag conversation, Muslim ARC said it has reached out to more than 20,000 people in more than 40,000 cities. That number has multiplied by those who have been impacted by their work, like Islamic studies scholar Kyla Wheeler, who teaches at Michigan's Grand Valley State University, which is in Saginaw. Wheeler said that in a series of interviews with Hill and Muslim and Islam conducted with the Muslims in the different racial backgrounds, which followed on Twitter, had helped her to inform the way that she teaches about Latino and Asian Muslims. Being Black and Muslim also inspires Wheeler's 2-year-old Black Islam syllabus projects, which she compiled educational resources on Black Muslims based on their contributions solicited via Twitter. Wheeler in turn has inspired other academics and collects resources such as the Sudan syllabus, curated by the University of Pennsylvania doctoral student Razan Adris, and Islamophobia is Racism syllabus, curated by 10 prominent scholars. For me, it's a space not only see myself recognized, but also challenge my own assumptions about what Islam is and who is involved with Islam, said Wheeler. It does a disservice to a graduate student when you teach about Islam in a way that is Arab-centric and ahistorical. Healing Islam say they want to lead the faith-driven dialogue that disrupts and alters fraught dynamics between non-blacks and black Muslims. Such tensions are particularly high in Detroit, where America has the highest percentage of black residents, next door to Dearborn, America's most Arab city. The demographics have led to clear tensions, partly due to the Arab Americans' entrepreneurial success, which some would say called exploitative with small business, which they do exploit the black people. This summer, Healing Islam plan to open up their first brick-and-mortar center, ARC House, in a largely crowded funding office and training space in the Detroit Historic Muslim Center Mosque, founded in the 1980s under the leadership of Imam W.Deen Muhammad. The Muslim ARC team is aware that the organization growth has sometimes to do with the rise of Black Lives Matter movement and the election of Donald Trump. Terms like intersexuality and microaggression, once nearly exclusive to academics, are branded in much easier these days. In some ways, the awareness have made Muslim ARC work easier, Islam said. It opened up a greater willingness to understand. But while anti-racism is trendy, she added, we had to remind folks that there is a long-term work to be done. We have to make sure we are not distracted by that crisis to respond, that we don't focus on the Semitic issues that was there under Obama too. The founders of Muslim ARC say that they themselves have continued to learn and relearn the meaning of racial justice. Part of that because they have put together a diverse board that includes blacks, Latina, Arabs, and South Asian members, which they say help us expose them to new viewpoints and put them in a better position to call out racism as they see it. I am not asking people to do anything I have not done for myself, said Islam. Well, there you have it. You know what I'm saying? So, it still shows that even in other religions, you still catch hell because you're black. You know, I've seen the Arabs act the fool all the time. I'm trying to act the fool all the time on black people. You know, and saying them slick little names in Arabic and stuff like that. And the reason why they do it because you allow them to do it. A lot of black people in the diaspora, you know, in North America, you know, United States, got to get rid of that romanticism about Islam. You know, we got to understand that we have no friends. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you're a black person, you're a Muslim, you be the best black Muslim you can be. But, you know, you take that and blacken it up, put an African twist to it. You know what I'm saying? Like we used to do anyway. Same goes to want to be a black Christian or a black Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? You do that and you put an African twist into it, you know? Don't let nobody, you can't put your religion before your race. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing that a main problem that many of us have, you know what I'm saying? We put our religion before our race, our sexuality before our race, our gender before our race. While other groups is not doing that. They saying, hell no, we putting our race first. This is how we gonna do it. This is how we gonna spend it. Anyway, this is Iskosi of Fun Day. Much love to you and yours. Hit the subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? We dropping this knowledge on black history. Peace.